right, so the good news is even if you hate the talk, you may enjoy 20 Deadpool-themed slides. So how many people here are coming from development background? Oh, wow, nice. So I came from a development background too. I started my career many moons ago around DC area. So I was doing a lot of government contracts, government type of work. And as any company back then was talking about it, developers could never access production. Like that was not our thing, right? We sat there in the corner, wrote the code, and then threw it over the wall to our operations, right? Couldn't touch production database, could not touch the service, anything. But then, well, first of all, I stopped working with government. But some of the companies became a little more liberal, and us as the developers got much coveted suited to production, so we could do deploys, and at the very minimum, we could troubleshoot things. And then the whole DevOps thing started happening. So we were getting more and more access to production. So now we can deploy to production, we can troubleshoot in production, we can even fix things in production nowadays. But the more stuff we can do in production, the more stuff actually depends on developers, the question comes up more and more. Should developers be on call? Right. And I talked to a lot of people over the past probably a couple of months, maybe more, and people deploy different types of models. Developers are in the same rotation as ops, developers as a backup line of support, developers are the front line of support. But really, I mean, it all matters at what breaks the most in your architecture, right? A lot of things can break, but if most of the things that break is networking and hardware, chances are your ops people will be the first line of defense. If it's application, well, congratulations. Realistically, what you want to do, you want to eliminate that escalation step, right? You want to wake up as few people as possible in the middle of the night. And yeah, only one person has to suffer when something goes wrong. So how to do that? Actionable alerts, I'm sure you all heard about it. It's like playing a little game with Chinese fortune cookies when you add it in bed at the end. You add it in 2 in the morning, right? So do I care about it in 2 in the morning? Can I fix it in 2 in the morning? And most importantly, can somebody else fix it? Because if not, congratulations, you're on call. So what does it have to do with developers? Hopefully everybody here already knew all that stuff, right? I mean, how can developers help with all this process? Well, as much as nobody likes doing that, documentation is the first thing people can do. We're going back to the whole remove the escalation and making sure somebody else can fix it. Make sure that every single alert that goes out and wakes somebody at night has an actionable list of steps to reproduce. I'm a huge fan that anybody on any tech team should be able to put an alert in the system, whether it's devs, whether it's DBAs, whether it's ops, as long as it has the steps to reproduce the problem, to troubleshoot the problem, to look at the other things that can be related, and only then to escalate it to somebody else who may be able to help them. Because otherwise, why bother, right? Otherwise, you're a glorified phone. Another thing that developers can do is actually monitor what's important, which is the business, right? Nobody cares in the middle of the night if your cash miss ratio is a little off, but people will care if the revenue is down, which is caused by performance problems, which is caused by your cash miss ratio. So monitor business and monitor everything, but only alert on what's important. And more often than not, that's actually business that's more important. And another thing to remember that much like security and performance, monitoring is not a feature. You can't build a whole application that you spent past 6 months developing and then say, hey, let me monitor the front web page and make sure it's up and running. Monitoring should be part of your development process. So this way you can accumulate all the checks and all the metrics that you need to collect and correlate, so it'll be easier for somebody. It is a continuous process. You're not going to cover everything 100% of the time. Things will break in production. And when they break it, you fix it and you put another metric in. And another thing which is kind of self-explanatory is availability, right? If you push code to production on Friday afternoon, don't go get wasted on Friday night. I mean, it seems like a common sense, but I've seen things. Yeah, and generally just, I mean, whatever role you are in would be the best in your company to support the on-call initiative, whether it's a front line or just a support. Just be kind to the people who actually have to wake up in the middle of the night, whether it's you or not. And with that, listen to the man on screen.